So this morning I got up. I didn't get up as early on my first alarm, but I did get up early for me, and I did my rituals, my morning stuff, and I was starting to get eager. I was excited because I had good energy. I was like, all right, I'm ready to try this out, see if I can get a workout in before Teddy wakes up. And I remember when I was sitting in, like, I don't know if it was when I was doing my Kundalini or meditation, and God was kind of like a lot of, like, I always feel like I connect with him through my heart, like through my inner child. Like, I feel like my crown is like open to like all, I don't know, like my higher self and like other energies, but I don't know how to explain it. Like, I just see, like, it's either a very like nurturing, like protective energy, or it's like there's almost like a childishness with it, because, or like, yeah, it's like a, like a purity, like a simplicity. And there was this voice that was like, it kind of makes me sad that you're so eager to like do this workout, but you're not as eager to like talk to me or something. It wasn't those words, but it was something about the comparison of like how eager I was to like get started with this workout. And it's thrown me off today. It's like because of yesterday. And then yesterday I was asking for food freedom, which is another thing that I really want to heal. I want to have a healthy relationship with that. And that impulsive nature has been coming out of me more recently, and it's real common with Aries, and like, but it gets me in more trouble than it does actually is anything, like, especially not for like the collective, like a life. I just always follow my impulses. If I have no impulse control, like, my son already struggles with that. So I was like, I need to be the one who has control over that. And I mean, sometimes it's can have its moments that are okay, but like, anyway. And then it came to me that like one of the things that it might put me more in that kind of like ADHD energy when I'm starting to I'm losing this reassurance. I'm losing this like trust of like everything's going to play out the way that it's meant. I know that everything's going to play out the way that it's meant to, but like I'm personally, like, so I wanted to give an example. Like, my dad helped pay for, or he did pay for, I didn't have the money to pay for the plumbing situation, and he covered that. And he's been very supportive and kind, and like, he's like, if anything you need, let me know. And like, but I don't know the truth in like him having these memory issues, because I texted him, we got some of his mail and I haven't heard back from him, which is fine. I'm not like, I was like, I know I need to follow up again, but like, and then he said he would help with the babysitting, but now I canceled with her because I was like, we can't afford all this. And I'm trying to like figure out how to, like, what my role is in this, and how to keep trying to find that receptive space and feel safe, because I grew up with like my dad just not doing, he wasn't always negligent. He was just like, his focus was work. His focus was, I do yard work when I'm not working. And then, and so and my mom slandered him like so much. So it's like that, there's so much of this like memory that I have of my dad, like that's tarnished. But when I'm with him, I feel, and then when we lived together, he would take care of all the financial things. And we didn't have we've always had I feel like we have a past life together. We're both life path 9. I just feel like my dad has that kind of like bigger picture mindset like I do. And like, so we get along in that way. We've always had a camaraderie. And he would always talk about, we were like two ships in the night, when like I'd be leaving to go to a class or to do something else, and he'd be coming home when we had the rental place. And he was very easy to live with. But I did feel uncomfortable with the drinking with Teddy around him. However, he has always been gentle, and I never remember I remember raising his voice one time at Teddy, which I used to be. I had to learn how to be. I had to calm my own temper too. But aside from that, he's gentle. And so like, those are the things that like so I'm like, and then I'm seeing God showing me this is tying up in this whole Two of Cups situation and like the potential of a union and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know if I have the strength, if I have I think the courage is there, but I think because I know that I keep wanting to expand and I don't want to just be stuck, and I don't want to just not like try something new or like take a chance. Like it's not that, but it's like the strength to like sit in these unsure times that like makes me insane. And I have a life. I have a kid who needs me. I want steady income. I want to know that I have a source of income, because I've already had to sit in that space. And as a parent, it's a horrible thing to have to go through. I'm continuing to try to work on my perspective on it, because I know that in the bigger picture, like these things aren't like money comes and goes and like all that. But I'm like, what God is asking me to do right now, it's hard. I don't feel like I can't handle it. I recognize that now about me, is that I see that with the anxious attachment, that it's like sometimes I just want someone to keep reassuring me, or not like every single moment or something like that, but that like checks in, like does follow-ups and stuff. And my dad kind of was, but then I must have gotten out of that space. And so now there's all this silence. There's all this, lack of communication. And it's hard as a parent. Like it's because I know there's like day to day, I'm like, no, I don't have, like, I like being resourceful. I'm okay with having a simple life. Like, I don't need a bunch of people. Like, there's a lot of that I know that mostly I need source. And I'm sure that's why God was like that with me this morning, because he was like, this is going to bite you in the ass, or this is probably not going to be the best thing for you if you would just listen. And I was like trying to be open, but I didn't like, I was already like, my body was already like, okay, let's go. Cause my energy is inconsistent sometimes. And that cardinal part of me that just wants to keep like pushing forward is like, it's hard taming it. It's hard sitting in these spaces and just not having any reassurance. It's hard, which that requires that, like, because just the way that men, there's a lot that I don't know, but I'm slowly starting to understand that it's like men are never going to be like, they may learn how to speak their truth, but there always is going to be like a way that they are about emotions that they kind of like don't like, they're not always direct. And that's real hard for me. I don't like that at all. I love when people are like straight up with me, and I know exactly like, but that's that me needing to have faith, have trust that like, just because a man's not telling me that he loves me doesn't mean that he doesn't love me or that he has bad intentions. But it's a lot to overcome when you have parents that you have your other parent that did say nice things but had horrible intentions. And I really don't know. I'm like, I don't know what I don't know. No way of knowing like what it's going to take to heal this, or to like be in a place that like, because I'm not like crazy. I have moments of being like really protective over my kid, but I'm not like, because I'm comfortable with being mom. So it's like, I don't really feel like it's like a parent thing where I don't want just, I'm not comfortable with like men who aren't like super gentle. I mean, I do prefer that. I prefer like, but I can handle, some aggression. It's not like I'm like that soft, that sensitive. Like or like, like criticism. I mean, sometimes that's hard. Sometimes that's really triggering. Or like people, what's the word? Like just being like, aggressive with words. Because it's interesting, because it's like, okay, I need to wrap this up, but it's interesting because my kid's not very verbal either, but he is incredibly sensitive. He'll also just ignore me or laugh at me sometimes. So sometimes he'll be like, "Oh," but sometimes he'll ignore me. A lot of times he'll ignore me, which is fine. Or because I ask for space. I don't like him. I don't hate it when he comes up with next to me, but I don't want to add to the burden on him. And then sometimes he's really sweet and sensitive. You know, when I'm upset, because I just don't know anymore. I recognized this when like the last, I know, at least I know with like, I feel like the last guy he was fake nice with me, but I don't know. He also was just like had a lot of fiery energy, but he was mostly upbeat. He was mostly positive. And then Chaz, like, what's his name? Whoopsie. Just the first name. He struggled with like depression and stuff. So it's like he was more like brought that sensitive side out of me. And I remember because my mom was there and she was like studying it, taking notes when I was like freaking out when he was like not communicating. And I mean, it would be like over a day. It'd be like a couple of days later I'd hear from him, and then I would find out he was in like a depressive episode. But that stuff is so hard as a woman. I think it's beyond anxious attachment. It's definitely me, and because of things I've been through. Because I'm still like, yeah, I want breaks for my kid, but I'm like, I'm kind of like ask like the first day or so or 2 days when he's gone, and then I'm like, okay, unless I don't hear anything, I feel okay about it. But I check in with myself all the time, so it's like I like to be checked in with people. But I realize that that's a control thing, and that that's going to be something I have to be stronger about, that if I'm going to even have a union. I'm just at a breaking point with like not knowing how we're going to have the income coming in, and I don't know why today was crazy. And I don't know. I feel like I need to I don't know if I'm supposed to speak. I don't know what God wants me to do as far as my family. If I need to speak my truth to my mom and be like, I don't ever want to see you again. Like, I don't want you to be a part of my life in any way, shape, or form. And that's the other part, is I'm like, I want to figure out how to financially cut myself off. If my dad wants to genuinely support out of the space of his heart, like, that's fine. But I know from my mom, I know there's no doubt that that's a unhealthy and that's a power and thing from her. So I don't want to be in this place anymore.